Hello and welcome to this small series of video tutorials. I am Steven, and in this short guide we want to have a look at how to establish user retention on your Unreal Engine game using the SCILL API from 4Players. SCILL is a gamification service that manages the logic behind battle passes, challenges and achievements, and leaderboards. Effectively, you just need to send events with appropriate metadata to the SCILL backend to track the relevant information about your players, and then poll the states of the achievements or leaderboards. For this purpose, we will have a look at a sample project, the Action RPG example by Epic Games, to have an easily accessible and prominent starting point for this tutorial. You can download that project directly from the Epic Games Launcher's Learning section. Just scroll down here and select to download the example. We will have a look at it later in this video. In this project, we will incorporate any changes that are needed to integrate with the SCILL API to showcase typical applications of SCILL. So in order to start, go to the SCILL homepage for developers and create an account there, choosing the appropriate plan for your purposes and providing your data. Once done, we can start downloading the SCILL SDK for Unreal. You can go to SCILL's GitHub repository and download the code here, or clone it to your local machine using the usual Git workflow. The SDK is an Unreal plugin and will be placed in the plugins folder of your project. You do not need to build it manually. This is done by the Unreal build tool instead, once you start the project anew. The Unreal SDK has a guide for starters, as well as a reference for the used classes and functions in the GitHub repository. Additionally, you can have a look at the documentation of SCILL in general and the SDK specifically on the 4Players homepage. Here you have resources explaining how the SCILL API exactly works and how you can integrate that in your projects. As a last thing in this video, we want to have a look at the project that we are working on, to get an idea of where we will start to integrate SCILL later on. This project is partly written in C++, but we can make all changes that we need in blueprints. So no need to install any programming environments for this tutorial other than the Unreal Engine itself. Once the project is open in the Unreal editor, we can explore the structure a little bit. The default map in the editor contains the whole game already. UI, for example that of the main menu or inventory, are simply blended on top of the game's rendering. But now let's try out the game a little to get a hang on what we can do to keep players interested and motivated to play our game. Now let's start the game to have a look at what it is about. In this sample game, the player has to clear as many waves of enemies as they can. For killing an enemy, they are rewarded souls that they can then spend on upgrades, either weapons or spells. While attacks only take some time to perform, you will need to spend some mana on spells. Lastly, you can collect health and mana potions that help you persist during your fights. There are already some ideas for challenges that do both introduce players to some aspects of your game and keep them having fun and playing your game. In this example project, we will reward the player with souls, but we can implement any reward that we like, for example a new weapon that is only accessible through one of the retention features. We can implement these ideas fairly easily by adding blueprints at some places in the project. The structure of this project consists mainly of the different visuals of the game elements, so we will not change anything in most of these folders here. The interesting part of the project for us is the blueprints folder. Here we find the player character class, player controller, game mode and game instance classes that we will need to manipulate in order to access the SCILL API with the Unreal SDK. The other folders are indeed not as important to us, as they only hold visual assets, data tables or blueprints of the different pickups, like potions, souls and weapons. So now we have an idea of what we will do during this tutorial and have a starting point. In the next video, we will take a detailed look at the SCILL Admin Panel as well as the SCILL API itself and how the Unreal SDK communicates with it. I hope you liked the video so far, and we will continue in our next video. Until then, bye!